White has a weak king, but white has also the bishop pair and a better center. So basically that makes that white is has a slight advantage. So I play knight f3 to kick the queen away so I can play king h2. And here he played queen f6, which I put that it wasn't the most critical move because of queen g3, which would have prevented my king to develop. But anyways, after queen f6, I play king h2 and rook f1. So we have this position where my opponent blunders and plays bishop to d7. Now, if you look at what followed, I took on c6, which basically says, okay, I'm winning. Because after takes, you have to take with the B pawn, because if you take with the bishop, I play simply what happens in the game, knight d4 and knight f5. Instead, queen takes loses the pawn, and bishop takes is the same line, except that my knight is not takeable by the bishop. So here he plays king h8, which is just a useless move. He could have just played, for instance, rook e8, defending the e7 square. And so he plays king h8, and I played g4. And here we can see I have a great bind on the light squares, making this bishop quite useless and very weak. He plays knight f6 because, well, where does he go if he doesn't go to f6? And I play bishop e3, heading for the c5 square, from which it blockades the pawn structure of black, the black's pawn structure, and controls the weak squares. So he plays knight e8, trying to go to d6. So I play b4, controlling the c5 square for my bishop, so it becomes an outpost. He plays knight d6, and here I play this move a4. So here I'm just trying to take some space on the queen side, since I have a ton of space on the king side and center. So he plays knight takes, and here I choose to take with the e-pawn, while normally I would probably take with the g-pawn, so my file would open. But here I decided to play it more positionally, because I am like, okay, I have more space on the king side. He has maybe a slightly weak pawn on e4, and these pawns are weak because they won't be able to move. So after e takes queen f6, I play queen e1, which I put an exclamation mark on because it it controls it controls the h4 square, from which I can play h4 g5 to attack on the king side, and also controls the e4 squares after bishop c5, for instance. So queen e1 g5, which I felt like was a good move, preventing me from doing anything on the king side, but still the h4 move will be dangerous soon enough. So I play bishop c5, and here white is much better because, well, simply I have such a great grip on the dark squares and light squares, so he can't do anything. So rook f8, and here I play this move queen e4, so I blockade the weakness, and now I will just play around it. So he plays king g8, and I play h5, a5. So now you might say, why did I put two exclamation marks? Because that looks kind of excessive. In fact, it makes this bishop absolutely not play in the game. Of course, after a6, it's even more obvious because the bishop will not get anywhere else in these three squares. The idea of a5 is after bishop c8, I play a6, and the bishop has no squares to go. And I can play a6, rook a5, and have pressure on the e5 pawn from this square. So he plays a6, and I play rook e1. And here it's just a bit of shuffling. I play this move, rook f3, so that my king can slide to the queen side without any problems and without any ideas with bishop e6, which could activate maybe from d5. While right now, for instance, let's say I play king g2, my opponent just waits, and if I play king f2, he plays this, which the bishop cannot be taken because it is pinned. And so after king moves bishop d5, but the bishop is suddenly alive, even though I will always be able to play this move. But after bishop d5, for instance, e4 becomes a problem. Rook f3 was the idea of preventing bishop e6 and the activation of the bishop. Plays king h7. Here I start running my king, and the fun part is that my king can go to be sure on the queen side, while his king is blocked by my bishop, so it cannot cross this line. So I play king h2, and oh, okay, well, okay. So king g2. He just shuffles because he realized he can't do anything. And after this move, I play rook h1, and I'm starting really to want to play h4. Now here he plays king g7, and I play h4, and here sadly he breaks up the position, and that is a fatal blunder, which just ends up very quickly. By the way, after rook h5, my idea is to threaten g5. There you go. Because now if, let's say, he plays a random move like bishop b7, I play this, he has to take it, and then I win this. I win the queen. Okay, I was just trying to find back because I remembered the queen that got trapped because of my bishop, my pawn, and you can already see that the queen has not many moves, so he plays rook d8, and here I play g5 anyways. So here, if he takes, again, same thing. So he plays queen d8, and I play f6. Play queen e4, not taking, for the very simple reason. Well, there is no, like, just that my queen here cannot come here. And they play queen e4, I will come here. So it was kind of my idea, and here my opponent resigned.